Gentling the Bull. The 10 Bull Pictures, A Spiritual Journey. Comments taken from talks by Myokyo-ni. Chapter 7. Picture 7. Bull forgotten, man remains. But there is still another and most significant point to be considered. Picture 7, Bull forgotten, man remains, also illustrates the dire need for the real gentling of the bull. Not just on the surface only, but an inner, in-depth transformation of the bull nature. Bull vanished, man remains. If the training has not been thorough enough, had not been hard and bitter with no bones broken, what happens? The change goes the opposite way. Man forgotten, bull remains. We have all at one stage or another come across bull men or bull women in the family or in the office, but these are the minor ones only. The full extent of the calamitous power of such bull possession may be studied in secular and religious history. To make sure of the bull being really gentled, ordinary daily life is our training ground. It provides ample opportunity to check and recheck whether there still is even the slightest of rearings. If so, firmly on with the training, more training and yet more training. I remember Sesso Roshi, under whom I had the good fortune to train for 6 years, telling me that his teacher Sojun Roshi, who lived to a very old age, was what the Zen tradition with great respect and admiration calls a severe teacher. Every month Sesso Roshi went to visit Sojun Roshi and naturally always took his attendant monk with him. This office of attendant to the Roshi is, as are all other officers, for half a year, and is a very formative time. In a Rinzai monastery, the Roshi is not considered a guru, but without him there to give Sanzen interviews and Teisho talks, there would be neither Rinzai training nor guidance. Hence the importance and deference accorded him, for his well-being is of paramount importance to the community, and all regard him with trust and respect. There is no reason to stay if that is not there. The attendant monk, therefore, has to study the master's idiosyncrasies, and for the half year of his office make the master's well-being his own, forgetting himself. Hence the importance and formative effect of this office, and the set period of duration, so that the formation can take place, but not long enough to become too personal. The latter is strictly discouraged. Anyway, back to the story. I knew from a succession of monks that they loathed Sesso Roshi's visits to Sojun Roshi. Sesso Roshi was a mild and mellow master, whom one could not help but respect and revere, but Sojun Roshi, in their presence, treated Sesso Roshi as if he were a first-year monk. Sesso Roshi told me, and I have never forgotten it. I know the monks hate it, but I can't tell you what it does to me. Here I am, Roshi, Lord Abbot of Daitoku-ji. All I hear is, "Yes, sir. Sir, if you wish it so," from everyone I come into contact with. Nothing else. It is a very lonely position. Then, once a month, when I visit Sojun Roshi, I feel young again. I am so grateful. He still treats me like a raw beginner. Seeing they are upset, I try to convey that to my attendants. They do not really understand, but they will find out in due course. That really is the test, is it not? If I feel threatened in circumstances that belittle or diminish me, if there is the slightest quiver, then there is a great deal of training still necessary. Actually, such tests do occur, not only in the normal training or daily life situations, but the Roshi occasionally begins to fish. Suddenly, an accusation is thrown at one, obviously trumped up. In the beginning, there is a flicker. What are you blaming me for? Then one goes away smarting and feeling, I must set it right, I must make him understand. By the time that has gone on for a year or two, the realization dawns that it does not really matter. It is not one's business. One begins to remember training stories, like that of Master Haggiag, who, when wrongly accused of a really great misdemeanor by the whole village, just commented, "Is that so?" There was no trying to wash himself white, although he was certainly not guilty. Just saying, "Is that so?" and leaving it at that. When the situation changed and his innocence became known, leaving it at that too. His only comment again, "Is that so?" Or that other story already mentioned of the early Chinese master who was ostracized and banished to a mountain peak. There he taught the bears and the wolves and the stones. Then he was asked back again, and that was also all right. This is going with circumstances as they are, without having to take any personal issue at all. When that has become transparent and clear, then no eye has passed the entrance to the deep secret. No eye can sit on that mountain peak. And in any case, no eye has no place to sit down, even for a short while. Therefore, there is no temptation to remain on that mountain peak. No eye realizes that there is actually no such place, and there is no such realization and no temptation to sit down either. Even if there were such a place, no eye, being nothing at all, cannot sit down anyway. All these meanings are pointed at in the picture. From picture 7, we are faced with religious pictures that point, but are not meant to be grasped. What they point at is a mystery. From the side of eye, a mystery cannot be understood, cannot be grasped. It can only be revered. In the act of reverence, bowing deeply before it, the heart may open. Thus open, it may reflect the mystery, and with continuing training partake in it. After I had been training under him for some 2 or 3 years, Master Sesso occasionally allowed me to come and make up the ink for his calligraphy. One day, the moment I appeared on the threshold and bowed, he said, "You know what is really important cannot be translated at all." I had just been confronted by difficulties of translations, especially of the old stories, because though they were freely told and generally very freely rendered, it is by people who know what they are all about. So I said yes, and thought how glad I was that this had been truly emphasized. The Roshi looked at me and said, No, you do not really understand. What is most important cannot be translated." I thought of the koans. All have got what technically is called an eye, and if that does not come across or is slanted, the koan or case loses its point, though on the surface it is still the same story. I thought, yes, that is an important point. Fool! What is really important cannot be translated. Having seen in my face my mistaken grasping at an idea of mine, Sesso Roshi cited an example. Though Japanese, its sense is readily accessible to us too. Just think of going to worship at a Shinto shrine. There is the grid where you place your offering. Then you pull at the straw rope with a little bell on top. The bell summons the deity, so that it may come out of its little house up there and reveal itself to the worshipper, who then folds his hands and bows in the presence. Sesso Roshi suddenly smiled and continued, "It is irrelevant whether the deity is there or not. It cannot be seen anyway. But what happens in the heart of the sincere believer as he deeply bows in the presence, that is the blessing, and that cannot be translated." We need to bear that in mind when we approach the religious realm. When we see pictures like picture 7 to picture 10, hear or read stories which are to us mysteries, they are to be revered, not to be understood. If I think I can understand them, I have put them simply into the category of, oh yes, nothing but, and with that have lost the whole impact. The mystery is gone, the heart closes up and feels desolate.